Welcome to Cultivate the Ordinary podcast, curious conversations for the anxious, frustrated, and bored. I'm Travis.
And I'm Jessie. So often we're held captive by screens, schedules, and media that's mind-numbing and polarizing. This leaves us seeing dimly through a fog. We want to spark more imagination and a better awareness of God's presence in the everyday.
Join us on a fun journey of discovery and curiosity as we look at the ordinary through the lenses of joy, wonder, beauty, and hope.
Welcome back to Cultivate the Ordinary podcast. Today, I am joined by Travis and another co-host, which happens to be his new ukulele.
Uh-huh.
How's it going?
It's good. Good. Yeah, I was just, that was a debut. Well, that wasn't the debut. I guess I've played one other time in front of others that are not family. So yeah, that was a little thing I've been doing, playing the ukulele.
Yeah, short-lived. It's only been 4 weeks, 5 weeks, something like that?
I think something like that. Yeah. And I think it's actually the ukulele is how the Hawaiians would say it.
Ukulele.
So it's a very Hawaiian instrument. I think it actually originated in Portugal, brought to Hawaii, and then somewhere I read it's considered maybe the most joyful sounding instrument. So
I would agree with that.
I feel like you could play the ukulele, like if the DMV had someone outside of the DMV playing a ukulele, all of our experiences would go better.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. That's true. You walk in all calm and regulated.
Yeah. So when you inevitably find out, like after an hour sitting in there, that you left one form that they needed, the fact that ukulele brought you in would help.
I don't know that it would help.
Ease the pain. Well, maybe on your way out, you'd be reminded by seeing the ukulele playing again that, okay.
Yeah. It's only the coming in, not the leaving. So tell me what's the origin story for the ukulele? Like I know, but tell everyone else how it all got started.
Yeah. Well, so basically, we'll talk more about this in a few minutes probably, but my brother Jeremy, who, if you don't know by now, was in a car accident in 2009 and suffered a traumatic brain injury. Cannot speak, but it can completely, spell things out. And, he's an amazing guy. And so one of my friends, Everett, invented this instrument he called the FETAR, which allowed Jeremy, with his limited movement of his left foot, to play a 6-stringed instrument. We called it the FETAR. Played that several years ago, hasn't played it much since. That's kind of on me. Life's busy and etc. And I got inspired with music lately and like just other things that maybe we could help Jeremy with or whatever. And I asked him a while back, hey, what do you think about picking up the FETAR again? And he was kind of still for a while, no movement of his arm to let me know he wanted to say something. And he spelled out something like, yeah, I'll play that again if you play an instrument too. Challenge. Okay. Fair enough. So I accepted. So I looked up, I Googled what is the easiest stringed instrument to play, and the ukulele popped up. So I bought a ukulele on Amazon and away we go. So because I had thought about, my only other option was my trumpet that I used to play in high school. Haven't touched that thing since like 98. And if you know anything about like brass instruments or like instruments that you use your mouth for, like bodily fluids go into those. So if I'm thinking like that thing's sitting for like 25, 30, how many years it's been, like I could contract a disease picking that up. Like that's how smallpox reemerges on the scene from an old trumpet sitting
So the
dormant.
ukulele is really just more of like a self-preserving move so that you don't contract something from your trumpet.
Partially, yes.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
and I think if I played the trumpet next to Jeremy playing the FITAR, we'd have this weird ska thing going.
That's
And
true. They don't really
ska
go together.
is ska has long been dead.
Yeah.
And I mean we could try to resurrect it, but
So
I
how
don't
does it feel? Like how do you feel playing an instrument after all these years?
know. Man, I love it so much. I really thought it was going to be more of a just a lesson of futility and uh being frustrated that I suck. And I have really found that I'm like playing it every day just for my own soul care.
That's awesome.
So my advice is find a simple instrument, and I don't care how old you are or what lack of musical talent you think you might have. Find an instrument and just start playing it. And in our era of YouTube instructional videos and all the things that we can learn on,
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah,
it's
I think
so.
for me watching you, it's been really fun to watch you just enjoy it, just have fun with something and not be good at it at first and
I mean,
just play around and then
and
gradually improve.
well, I like you said, not at first. I think like let's be real, I'm still not. So like I've become like I'm pretty good at like one finger chords. Like I'm like Captain Hook playing this thing. Like but yeah, there's a lot you can do on so it's 4 strings and like there's a lot of like one finger chords you can do like and it's just so
Yeah.
vibrant and joyful. So
I
yeah,
know. I thought you were going to give us a worship song.
not there yet.
Yeah.
So, but that's the ukulele. So,
So when I think about Jeremy, I think about all the people whose lives he's touched. And the quote by Mary Oliver comes to mind where she said, "Instructions for living life." She said, "Pay attention, be astonished, and tell about it." So I think because Jeremy is limited in so many ways, like you just watch him
mm-hmm,
pay attention to things. And
mm-hmm,
it's just really inspiring to me to watch him kind of soak things in, and then he gets that twinkle in his eye, and then he wants to spell something and he says something that you're just like, oh, he always surprises you with what he's about to say.
mm,
And yeah, he's just the most present person I know.
yeah, yeah, totally, yeah. So, yeah, I love that quote because I think it's helpful for us all to regularly be thinking about what is going on around me in my life. What is something that maybe I'm taking for granted or realizing in a new way that like, hey, that's actually really cool. And really kind of fits too with one other quote from the great writer Annie Lamott when she says, and she has this great book on prayer, and her thing is 3 greatest prayers are thanks, wow, and help in different order. I'm not sure the order. It's not in front of me, but she has this great line of where she says, the third great prayer is wow. It's often captured with a gasp, a sharp intake of breath, when we can't think of another way to capture the sight of shocking beauty or destruction, of a sudden unbidden insight or an unexpected flash of grace.
Hmm.
Wow means we are not dull to wonder.
Mm.
So really thinking about that a lot. Like, yeah, what's making us just say wow? Where's
Yeah.
wow coming out? So wow right now for us is, like you said, all around Jeremy's story in his life. And it
Mm-hmm.
always has been, but there's times where, again, taking that for granted or maybe being in seasons where we're not leaning into that as much or just kind of, some of his, the things that he's doing. And also coming out of a season of him where, again, he, came out of having pneumonia a little over a month ago, really bad episode that in his condition, like it could take his life, you know? So like once a year it's been lately where he's got an acute emergency episode of something that's like, it could be it.
Yeah.
And by God's grace, you know, he's come out of these and, but then it's also felt like, wow, what a gift. Like, you know, what can we, I don't know. We just realize how amazing Jeremy is and how much we love him
Hmm.
and just wanting to be with him more.
So when we think about Jeremy's story and all the new excitement and kind of fresh energy around it, like what was the kind of precursor to what's kind of been going on lately?
Well, just a couple things or a few things. One is, I think I've said this before in a previous episode, like, coming off of a cruise that was really inspired by a lot of great music and our favorite band, just reminded how much the power of music is, and reminded of, you know, even with Jeremy, that he played the FITAR and how inspiring that was, especially considering, you know, his disability to have limited movement and have a guitar pick basically on his foot playing this instrument.
Hmm.
Um, and just like he paints with his foot, has painted a lot of paintings for people that are incredibly powerful. Just picking up some of that again after this hospital stay, and just like, oh man, I mean, just wanting to so much more again lean into his life and help him with the things that, you know, in busy seasons it's hard to sometimes keep up. And so those were some of the things, and then also really excited about, we're filming a documentary about Jeremy and my brothers and their accident, but not kind of sure the entire storyline and the arc of where it's going. But so we've got a family friend who has a film company, and he's been gathering awesome footage and interviews from the family and stuff with Jeremy. So yeah,
Yeah.
that's been going on.
Yeah, it's
Yep.
been really fun to see. So his name's Jake, and his business partner, I guess you could
Mm-hmm.
say, is Caroline, and they
Mm-hmm.
work together on these films. And just the ways they kind of get into these conversations that people are having about just different aspects of Jeremy's story, and
Mm-hmm.
just the family gatherings and the things that, we're just trying to bring life to all the things that have happened over the last, oh gosh, 15 years. Has it been
Yes,
15
it's
years?
longer than that. I was just thinking about it. I mean, the accident was 2009, so I mean, we're looking at, yeah. Um, can we do math? I guess just over 15, right?
Uh,
So
yeah, I think it's 15.
16.
Okay.
2025 minus 2009, around 16, right? So
Yeah,
anyway,
yeah.
yeah,
Okay.
yeah, but around 15, you're right. You nailed it. So, okay, so yeah. Okay, so you were on a spiritual retreat during some of this recently.
Yeah.
Um, so you missed this part, but you were getting your soul fed through that. That's a whole nother thing. And maybe we can talk about that on an upcoming episode, because it'd be awesome to hear more of what that is and how that's changing some of your ordinary
Yeah.
days. But during that time when you were gone, our good friends Danny and Ashley and Everett, and now a new friend of mine, Dave, in the band Wasper Jaws, um, came and jammed with Jeremy on the FITAR, and this was captured, you know, for the film, and it was magic,
Mm.
pure magical. We Everett, again, one of the band members, um, got the thing to he had invented it essentially, but then got it tuned up again because it sat for several years. So we got this thing rocking again, and I was practicing a little bit with Jeremy before we were going to all jam together. And funny thing is, right the day before we were going to all get together, Jeremy's playing it, and the guitar pick just snaps, just breaks, and
Oh.
we're like, dude is just shredding. Like that, just it set the tone. Like he's not playing around. He came to jam. And so anyway, and then the next day we have this magical session where um Wasper Jaws, and we're gonna put a link in the show notes. You got to check them out. Super fun. bluegrass, folk, all the things, banjo. They had a shout out by the Avett Brothers on their last album. Super cool. Anyway, um, performing a song with Jeremy, or actually we did a few. And then I stepped out there with the ukulele and felt, oh boy, wow. Just try not to be like too like plinky sounding like a toy. That was like my big thing. Don't like ruin their songs because I'm a new musician. So, but
Yeah.
we had just a magical time. And Jeremy, we'll have more footage of this online and different things and try to share more of this. But yeah, him just jamming with them, playing songs was just pure magic. And it was fun. Later, Everett told me like it just felt like, I think he said the idea for the FITAR felt like it was almost divinely inspired. And when
Mm-hmm.
we're jamming together with Jeremy, he said it felt like an out of body experience. And that's kind of what I
Mm.
felt like too. It was just so cool. We had so much fun. So big
Mm.
shout out to Wasper Jaws.
Yeah. Yeah, they're amazing. So you mentioned like putting stuff online and social media and stuff,
Mm-hmm.
and I think that's just another exciting thing that, I've gotten to be a little bit a part of, is what all this energy around his story and the documentary, and also just his daily life. Like
Mm-hmm.
we're all paying attention, we're all being astonished, and we
Mm-hmm.
want to tell about it. Like we want
Mm-hmm.
to give a window into the everyday life, that the ordinary, you
Yep.
know, life that Jeremy is cultivating.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
um and he needs our help to do that. So, I've gotten to kind of create a YouTube channel and help bring some kind of fresh energy to his Facebook and Instagram, and just taking the things he wants to say.
Mm-hmm.
He's got messages and
Yep.
questions and recent events that he wants to share with
Mm-hmm.
people, and it's really for him to be able to like just connect with more of his
Right.
friends and family that he doesn't get to see very often. So
Yeah.
it's
Yeah.
been really fun.
Yeah. And I've been so just grateful for you doing this too. I mean, you love him, sister-in-law, but you're so talented in the space of designing reels, and really you can create anything. Just such a creative. And so like you've had a lot of training and work with your work at America's Kids Belong doing that stuff. And so bringing all of that to this and Jeremy's platform and just elevating him and being super creative around that. So yeah, you've been awesome on that. So definitely check out Jeremy Vongsness, Facebook, Instagram. We'll also have a link to his
And
website. And
YouTube.
yep. Joy and
Mm-hmm.
Despair is his website. YouTube. I mean, everything's like out there.
Mm-hmm.
So, and then, yeah, we have also a couple other just last things around Jeremy and kind of cultivating the ordinary together. Painting again a lot. That's been awesome. So, again, on that, we've, put a paintbrush on his left foot and he's painting. He's probably painted. It's hard to guess at this point, but I would think well over 100 paintings. Had an
Yeah.
art show one time years ago at his alma mater, and so that's been awesome. What do you think about the whole painting thing coming back?
Yeah, no, it's really it took a pause for a little while, and that's really our fault, not doing as much with getting him going with it. But
Mm-hmm.
he has prints and he has some of his best stuff that's on his website that people can even order, and
Yep.
it's really beautiful that he gets to pick the brushes and the colors, and he always names these like right on
Right.
the spot.
Yep.
There is a video on YouTube now showing kind of his painting process, so that's something to check out. But
Yeah.
he smiles the whole time. Like it just makes, as an artist, like it makes me happy to see him able to just create something. Like we are
Yeah.
all made to create beauty and to
Yep.
engage in making something new.
Yeah.
And so
Yeah, that's awesome. He does. He just you see this magical thing being created, then you look up his face, just exuding so much joy, and it's like the brush strokes are just joys all over the place. And that was the same when he was playing the FITAR. Um, our friend Ashley, when she was, one of the band members, but also at the time was standing, kind of facing his face,
Mm-hmm.
and kind of helping capture some video too. And like, I could just see her beaming, watching his face, so full of joy as he's playing, getting to see that.
Yeah.
So super
Yeah.
fun. Um,
Yeah.
yeah.
And we also have had, some visitors. Like
Hmm.
he's been able to see meet some new people that he's never met before. People that, because of the newsletter that Dan, your
Hmm.
brother,
Yep.
that he puts out for Jeremy, it's reaching people that have actually never met Jeremy,
Hmm.
but now they're just like in love with him. Like, just they know his story and they're really invested in his life. And so, you want to tell a little bit about Wes Hardin's visit?
Yeah. So, we have, so you knew Wes's wife, Krista, definitely a while back. She has an awesome, huge podcast, Enneagram Marriage, a very talented, what'd you call it, relationship coach and
Mm-hmm.
former therapist.
Yeah.
Um, and in Florida, and been really helpful in our life, just both as a friend, but also just, kind of some relational marriage coaching. And then we, I guess, over a year ago, went down to Florida near Tampa.
Mm-hmm.
They're in somewhere down there, Parrish, Florida. But
Yeah.
and we did a double date and got to meet her husband Wes, who's a doctor and an awesome guy. And
Mm-hmm.
but I hadn't hung out with him beyond that. And again, to your example of like Wes just really being inspired by Jeremy's story, we had been texting some this last year of just, kind of praying for Jeremy in different ways. And then he had some technology, Apple Pro Vision goggles that he's kind of using as practice, and thought there could be a really awesome way to, um, give Jeremy some new means of communication, or just like expanding uh, all the things he can do, like through immersive, like, realistic, putting you wherever you want to be across the world, and videos and all that kind of stuff. Jeremy does have assistive communication technology, um, but hasn't loved it. And there's probably some different reasons around that. But just so anyway, Wes comes out from Florida, drives like crazy, like 12-hour day or whatever. Had to charge his car multiple times on the way. Didn't realize that would like take 2 hours in that long of a trip waiting on all these stops. But
Poor
anyway,
guy.
it was so amazing. Just Wes is an unbelievable person, and him coming to just give his gift of time and love, and meeting Jeremy, and then bringing this technology, which was amazing and fun. And we captured some of that. And then Wes performed a spoken word. Wes is big into apologetics, and sort of the science behind the reason for God, and making all of that make sense. And so in his church, Wes has performed some of these, like, how do you describe, like, spoken word videos set to um, his
Yeah.
daughter dancing.
What what he calls each of the videos is, his reasons for believing,
Mm-hmm.
and he's got multiple.
Yep.
So he performed one which was about the cosmos, and just God's creation, and just that. And then there's a series of like 4 other videos
Mm-hmm.
where he's done the same thing, but like one's about the human body. And then it's just it's really good stuff. And I was reading, he actually has a nonprofit called Meaningful Science, where that's what, he has these on YouTube. But yeah, just super smart, very compassionate, um man that wants to just help people
Yeah.
and connect them to the creator,
Yeah.
you know?
Yeah. So Wes did one of his performances um, for Jeremy and us present. We captured some of that, and it was like amazing. But just inspired that, Wes, as a practicing, physician assistant, is always helping patients and helping make the world better and brighter, and just pouring his life into people's lives, to then take this weekend and basically come to again, kind of pour out into Jeremy and then also be really inspired by Jeremy. And we just had an awesome time. Jeremy painted for him, his wife, Krista, and their daughter, and named the paintings in ways that like Wes was like, wow, I mean, these are exactly what sort of each of us needed in terms of the words of how he named them. So like just amazing, just magic.
Yeah.
So
yeah, that was like everything in one. It was just, you know, performance and art and lots of stuff going on there.
Yeah. So yeah, that's kind of really all that we have for this episode. Just kind of really excited about what God's doing in Jeremy's life and in our life around him and through us as well in that, and these spaces of like God shining. Friendship, just reminded of new friends, Wes, and just friends in our lives and how much friendship means and how much we get inspired and can inspire each other.
And witnessing, like being able to tell people about all that God's doing.
Yeah.
I mean, that's what it's all about.
Yep. 100%. And so, yeah, that's it. And we will have links to all these things we mentioned. And so you can check that stuff out and see what we were talking about in this episode. I'm going to now take us out with some more ukulele.
All right.
All right. Until next time.
Bye.
Thanks for listening to the podcast today. I hope you found something helpful, hopeful, or thought-provoking. Be sure to check out the show notes for links to any resources mentioned in the podcast. And we also have links in the notes for our own resources to check out. We would really love to hear from you. And we're also really grateful for your support by sharing the podcast episodes with your friends and family and leaving a rating and review. May we all regain and maintain our wonder, hope, and inspiration as we look at our ordinary through new and fresh eyes.